territory for Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. Coach, I'm going to ask something because I'm tired of doubling back to the Rodri absence. Pep is supposed to be the smartest manager around. I'm not buying the excuse that one person gets injured and all of a sudden the system has collapsed. What is wrong with Manchester City? You've lost 4-1 heavily in the Champions League. You are expected to respond at the Amex and you take the lead and collapse in such fashion. This is very uncharacteristic of them.
Okay, so we did the game on radio, you and myself, and I think I was very sure that Brighton will beat them.
You said it on Friday.
I even said it on Friday, and I said that due to a lot of reasons. Reasons number one, I think Brighton, the way they play their game, have rested for close to 1 week, and they'll be fresher, they'll be ready to go, and Man City form coming into this game was a bit patchy. So once everybody now realized that these guys are in fact, you can beat them or they are beatable, that gives you enough confidence to believe in yourself and believe in what you are capable of doing. Now, when the game started, City was so dominant. Look, everything they did in that first half, absolutely brilliant. You remember I said Pep will have to coach them smartly and he has to be a bit pragmatic. He was in that first half, and the players executed the job to perfection. In that first half, Brighton were all over the place. They were virtually compelling Brighton to do things that they are not used to doing. So you remember when we went for the recess, I did say that for Brighton to win, they'll have to play a bit differently. Something that personally I've never seen them do before, but at that level, they should be very capable of doing that. And in order for them to win the game, they needed to vary that short, intricate passes with some long balls in behind the Man City back line. Because Man City were playing so high up the pitch that the starting position of Ederson was so there as a libero. So the run off the ball shouldn't go through them, but they should come from the wings. And if you look at that equalizing goal, what Mitoma did, he pulled himself wide and then he came in with the diagonal. So once the pass was spot on and the quality was there, Man City paid the price. Like you rightly said, Pep did some substitutions. I think that was where he got it wrong. At the time, they were leading 1-0. He took off Silvino, is it Silvino? Silvino. And then he took off, I've forgotten who else that he took off. And then he brought in De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. Yes, Bernardo Silva, I agree. But De Bruyne, we all know that fitness-wise, he's not gotten there yet. Now, once you take those guys who are fit.
I want to say it's Gundogan.
He took off Gundogan. Now, the moment he did that, already they were struggling in midfield. The Cameroonian boy has come into the game and he was virtually manhandling and bullying everything Man City. Now, you took off Gundogan, who was adding some numbers to Kovacic and Rico Lewis in the middle. You brought in Kevin De Bruyne. Now, the De Bruyne introduction was to find a way of pushing Brighton backwards because at the time, they were just coming at Man City. But I also felt that tactically as a manager, you should acknowledge the fact that you've got something to protect. You were in the lead. It is not all the time where you want to dominate the opponent. There are times you allow them to have the ball and keep your shape intact and just look. We are just going to repel. This is our shape. Defensive line cover, come, you push back, come, you push back. Now, what he did was to introduce a player who was not fit, who will not win the ball of any Brighton players. And the moment he did that, he just invited Brighton onto them. That, in my view, was a wrong substitution by the manager.
Just something to point out. I thought it was a little fictitious, but Hezela will claim the spoils for it anyway.
That's right.
The Baleba substitution, it was not deliberate. Jack Hazelwood picked up an injury and he had to take Hazelwood out of the game. And that's why he actually brought on Baleba. I don't know if he had intended.
I think he took, is it Ayari?
So Ayari had a card.
He had a yellow card.
So he didn't bring him back. But there was also in fact, he ended up changing both his central midfielders. So one yellow card guy had to go. I've forgotten who exactly came on for him.
That was when
Baleba came and then he took off the other guy too. So both of his central midfielders from the first half both went off, and then he played two different central midfielders in the second half, and that eventually led them to
that boy from Cameroon. Look, if
20-year-old Carlos
if he
Baleba
can still fit, free of injury,
just
you pay 150 million for him.
Just let Graham touch on Baleba quickly. We have a break in 2 minutes. I'll let you have a little more talk on him. If you are coaches or teams watching Carlos Baleba now, what's exciting about him? What are the attributes that make him such a hot prospect for, the teams that coach is talking about?
You have a midfielder who can move the ball forward. He's not the type of guy that he's going to sit back and play short passes. He can move it forward, he can pass. That's what he wants in a midfielder. And because he's physically strong, I think some managers have felt that he should come and play number 6B and make a OB. I think De Zerbi used him more like that, but we didn't really see his game. You are seeing now Hezler has freed him to kind of play more like a number 8, be more aggressive with the ball, push it forward, and he looks great doing it. So I feel like sometimes managers, they fall into these traps that you look at a guy, he's big and strong,
you profile him
and you profile him the wrong way. But this guy is a guy who plays with the ball at his feet. He's a footballer. Not to disrespect defensive midfielders, but he's a footballer.
Coach, just what attributes do you like the most about him if I go on my break?
I think 2 things. He has this physical presence. In that role, in that department,
he's very
one
athletic.
thing that you cannot compromise is physical
athleticism.
He's
very
got
athletic.
the physical presence. And look, when he drives the ball forward, there were moments in that game where you could clearly see 3, 4, 5 Man City players.
He just
the moment he saw the channel,
he just passed them.
I'm going to pass them. It's a bit risky though. No other person should do it. If you've not got the quality he's got, you don't attempt doing that. But look, he's a fantastic player, and for me, if he can stay fit as a player, I think you pay £150 million for him.
Brighton have the blueprint of this thing really inscribed in their managerial ethos and their admin stuff. So they go and buy these youngsters from South America for 500,000, 1 million.
He was picked up from France.
France,
16 million.
There's a lot
60 million.
A lot of players like that in there.
There's a lot of young African players in France.
He came to replace Caicedo. They bought Caicedo for 6 million, sold him for over
They're
100
doing it
million,
really well.
bought him this guy to
They're going to do the same with Baleba. We can see it from a mile away. Let's take
What about João Pedro? That's another guy who's doing very well.
I like him actually. I like.
He
João
was at
Pedro.
Watford, but you know Watford, their issues. So.
Came on and scored actually. Let's take a break. When we come back, I'll read some of your messages that have come through. A lot of them have come through actually, and then we'll get more highlights because there's a lot of excitement on Scorecard. Stay with us.